Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. And Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents are arresting undocumented immigrants all across the country.
We just learned federal agents arrested 538 people alone just yesterday. Now, for perspective, that's nearly double the daily average number of arrests for the entire month of September last fall. The arrests come days after President Trump signed several executive orders cracking down on immigration.
And tonight, as more raids are conducted across the country, we are now hearing from law enforcement in Indianapolis.
Our Lauren Kostick shares where Metro Police and the local FOP stand on the issue.
Under President Trump's new directive, state and local law enforcement are being asked to help enforce federal immigration laws. IMPD's chief responding to the order on Twitter, saying local law enforcement, including the Indianapolis Metro Police Department, does not have the authority to enforce federal immigration laws. Rick Snyder, the president of the local police union, also doubling down on that decision.
Enforcement of federal laws must be enforced by federal officers, federal agents, and federal courts, not local or state police officers or state courts.
But said officers are still required to cooperate with ICE investigations and share information.
We just want to make clear and ensure that there is a clear delineation on the actual roles between our federal agents and local police officers as we move forward.
This comes as the State House takes up a bill requiring police to report undocumented suspects to ICE. Another bill would also criminalize local officers who don't cooperate with agents. On Friday, the Indiana Attorney General also chimed in, saying local officers are not required to do searches, but are required to cooperate with immigration agents.
I see that as basic cooperation between agencies on criminal issues that are affecting the safety of the communities that they're supposed to protect.
And IMPD Chief Chris Bailey said his department has not been asked to participate in any immigration sweep, once again making it clear that they have no intention of doing so. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
All right, thanks to Lauren there. And leaders at Indianapolis Public Schools are also commenting on the latest policy change. The district sent a letter to parents assuring them that their kids are safe at school regardless of immigration status.
Tonight, the Indiana Attorney General is filing a lawsuit against the Northern Indiana Police Department over immigration actions, specifically what he says they are not doing.
During a news conference about 4 hours ago in South Bend, Attorney General Todd Rokita said St. Joseph County Police refused to comply with Indiana law. He says the agency does not properly notify ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, about the release of undocumented immigrants.
We've also seen the Attorney General's office file similar lawsuits against other counties across the state, including the Monroe County Sheriff's Department as well.
What is happening in Monroe County and here in St. Joseph County isn't fair to Hoosier taxpayers or legal immigrants who came here the right way, like the ones I just met with and spoke with.
The Attorney General says his office has successfully worked with law enforcement in other counties, including Tippecanoe County, West Lafayette Police specifically, on their immigration policies.
The federal government is now using military aircraft to deport migrants. The White House press secretary shared these pictures online of handcuffed migrants lined up and boarding a military aircraft near the country's southern border. The first flights departed for Guatemala last night with about 75 to 80 migrants on board. Immigration is taking center stage at the State House as well.
Lawmakers not only debating how involved local police should be in enforcing immigration policies, but also how schools should respond. Emily Longnecker talks about that in this week's edition of Crossroads Politics.
House Bill 1394 would require schools to track the number of students they think are undocumented and report that to the state. It would also give districts permission to deny enrollment to students if they had reason to believe those students were undocumented. But activists say that would be illegal. Rachel Van Tile, the director of legal services at Exodus Refugee Immigration, said, quote, "The Supreme Court has already ruled on this on Plyler versus Doe. A child, regardless of immigration status, is entitled to an education in the United States."
You can watch our weekly show, Crossroads Politics, every Sunday morning at 10 on WTHR Plus or on demand anytime. It's a free download in the App Store.
All right, well, it is wintertime, which also lets you know it is pothole season. They have been popping up all across the area. Here's a look at South Emerson Avenue, just south of I-465 interchange. And it's coming after the cold weather that we've experienced. No shocker here. We are not new here, but it can be a bit frustrating.
I'm going to bring you some very bad news.
Okay.
Pothole season is about to get a lot worse.
Okay.
And here's the reason why. Look at the daytime high temperatures over the next 7 days or so.
All right.
We expect those to be above freezing, but the overnight low temperatures are also going to be below freezing. Freeze thaw, freeze thaw, freeze thaw. That leads to those potholes. Let's go ahead and go to the weather graphics. I can show you those numbers, those values. There they are. Again, temperatures above freezing for the next 7 days, but then we get that thawing and then you freeze it back overnight because the overnight low temperatures every single night will be back down below freezing. So that is going to lead us to likely more concerns on the roadways. The good news is overall the next 7 days look to be relatively dry. There's a couple of little nuisance systems like this one that may swing through the northern part of the state and bring us a chance for some snow flurries or snow showers for tomorrow. In the meantime, we've had a lot of sunshine today. It's been nice. Did not warm up very much though. We're now starting to cool back down. We're down to 21. We were at 22 earlier about an hour ago. So we've started that decline. I think we'll reach our low temperature tonight sometime around the maybe 7 to 9 time frame, maybe even moving that up just a bit. And then once those clouds filter in and a south or a southwest wind kicks in, then we'll see the temperatures begin to warm back up even through morning. So temperatures into the teens for this evening, and then by morning we're back up into the teens and 20s. Look at this. We are headed for the mid to upper 30s for tomorrow, finally getting above freezing for the first time in a week.
All right, we'll enjoy that. Thank you, Rob. Tonight, we're learning when a man accused of shooting his pregnant wife and killing her unborn baby will go on trial.
A Marion County judge set Jeremy McBridge's trial for March 24th during his first appearance in court today. And that's when McBride entered a not guilty plea to the charges of attempted murder and feticide.
The shooting happened Sunday night at a home near Garfield Park. The judge set McBride's bond at $200,000. Tonight, a Muncie man is officially facing charges after Marion police say he tried to sell a teenage girl for drugs. The Grand County prosecutor charged 28-year-old Anthony Franco Smith with several crimes, including promotion of child sex trafficking, criminal confinement, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. A 16-year-old girl called Marion police over the weekend, telling them a man who wanted to sell her for drugs wouldn't let her out of the car. Franco Smith is being held in the Grant County Jail tonight on a $50,500 cash bond.
And tonight we're getting an update on two parents facing neglect and drug-related charges in the death of their 1-year-old son. The shooting happened at an apartment in Lafayette back in March of 23. Investigators believe their 5-year-old son got a gun and then shot and killed his 1-year-old brother. Court documents show Shatia Welch is taking a plea deal and is pleading guilty to neglect of a dependent resulting in serious bodily injury, while the other charges will be dismissed. A Tippecanoe County judge will sentence her next month. And then Deontay Johnson is also charged in this case. He was supposed to go on trial this week, but because Welch took a plea deal, his trial was continued.
Tonight, an 18-year-old man is in critical condition after someone shot him. Muncie police tell us they found the young man early this morning after they stopped the driver of a car who they said was speeding with no headlights. Investigators say a 17-year-old who was in the back seat of that car was handling a gun when it fired, hitting the 18-year-old in the front seat. Police detained the 17-year-old pending a further investigation.
Well, right now, some Noblesville residents say they are angry and they are frustrated over an ongoing project by Duke Energy.
We first told you about this earlier this month, and today our Samantha Johnson went back to that neighborhood where residents say the damage is done.
Well, it is clear just by looking around that crews have been busy this week in the brutal cold, clearing all of these trees. In fact, if you take a look, you can see they have cleared this entire stretch of the neighborhood here. We know dozens and dozens of homes have been impacted.
That stack of trees, that's probably the third or fourth that size.
Longtime residents of Wellington Northeast upset over this. Duke Energy clearing decades-old trees to maintain and improve a major power line.
Yeah, I would hire them. They're fast.
Technically, the company has the right to do so, thanks to a 50-foot easement on both sides of the wires. But homeowners are worried about their property value and privacy.
sadness, disappointment, certainly some of it not suitable for television.
Take a look at what this looked like just 2 weeks ago compared to now. Duke says it'll remove stumps and replant the grass, but won't reimburse homeowners for anything else. Duke telling customers they understand the frustration, but this is about reliable electricity and safety.
People are disappointed, people are hurt, people are hurting, and will be for quite some time.
In Noblesville, Samantha Johnson, 13 News.
Still ahead, the future of Martin University.
Why the predominantly black university is not getting millions of dollars that it got in the past to attract students. That's new at 5:30. First at 5, though, trapped on Lake Erie.
Why the operators of this freighter likely thought the ice wouldn't hurt their ship. Plus, releasing hostages.
The deal between Israel and Hamas and when it's expected to go down. Next.